Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Wow.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of the program, Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. A lot of stuff happened yesterday in sports. I want to give a shout out to the Gator track team. Track meets are hard to follow, but we got a couple of national champions that have come out of there. I think it's still going on, but it's extremely hard to follow, in my opinion. They could do a little bit better job covering it on TV, in my opinion, as well. If you missed it last night, Oklahoma wins the Women's College World Series, goes back to back. It's ridiculous how well they hit the softball. The Lightning go up 3-2 with a 3-1 victory over the Rangers, and then tonight the Celtics with a 2-1 lead host the Golden State Warriors for Game 4. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by JC. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Another big item. I'm good. Thank you. Looking at a pretty wet golf course right now. Another big item is the California Angels stopped a 14-game losing streak last night behind Ohtani. Joe Madden was the manager of that team.
They fired him.
They fired him. They got rid of him. And it's almost as if, wow, okay, so teams go through losing streaks, but in this case, we're just going to get rid of our manager who had us in first place before the losing streak. So, baseball, it's early in the year.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's always interesting to me when baseball managers get fired, especially in Major League, because the season's so long. But honestly, I know this sounds silly, and I played baseball, and there's strategy involved and things of that nature, when to pull a pitcher. But in the end, in the Major League Baseball, you pretty much know who your starting 9 or 8 is going to be, regardless of the pitcher, for the most part. What the hell is Joe Madden ain't got a damn thing to do if Ohtani is striking out every time,
or Mike Trout, who's getting paid, half of.
He's having the worst year of his career,
right? Half of Orange County, which Joe Madden didn't decide to give Mike Trout half of Orange County, but. The management team did, and look at how lousy they are. I mean, they're 9 games out, and in spite of losing 14 straight, they're still second in their division, which is so lousy that you can make a case that everybody should be fired underneath the Houston Astros. The Angels, the Rangers, the Mariners, and the Athletics are miserable baseball teams. I mean, they're all way under 500. I mean, not even close to 500 records. And so you have the easiest division, and maybe that's why management decided we're just not going to get it done this year with this guy. We don't want to throw in the towel on the year, but I wouldn't throw in the towel on a guy that's basically been managing through from March to May now. I mean, to June, early June, it seemed kind of precipitous to get rid of a guy like that.
My point being is,
I know it's
not like he's drawing up any plays or a certain type of defense to slow the offense down and not getting it done. It's baseball. Either your dudes ain't hitting or your dudes ain't pitching.
I guess. Or that locker room's a nightmare to be in, and he's the problem. I don't know, man. But you lose 14 games. I guess that does have an effect on you. But anyway, they won last night. They beat the Red Sox. So
they did. We got a couple of Facebook Lives here brought to you by Mellon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Andy says Joe Madden won a world championship with the Cubs. That's all he needed to do in life.
Well, he did do that, actually. First one since, 1913 for the Cubs when they won it. So, and I don't even know if that young GM is still with the Cubs. I don't think he is. And I know John Lester's no longer with the Cubs. I think he's retired, actually. But, Cubs, they got some free agents and won a World Series. And Joe Madden was the guy there. And Chicago will forever be grateful. Cub fans.
Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Joseph says, I'm going to get to this. Team Represent, which is Jason Marshall Jr. and Marco Ortiz, our long snappers, sit atop the week 1 standings in the regimen challenge. Coach Napier is creating something special. I think we're going to have a better season than most people because these guys are competing. Okay, what he's referring to This is the stage of the regimen standings. And I'm going to read this real quick. And it's team represent is Marshall and Ortiz. In second, it's Time to Hunt, Naquan Wright, and Jeremy Crawshaw. Legendary finish is Richard Garage and Brenton Cox. Leave No Doubt is AR and Gervin Dexter. Attack or Be Attacked is Michael Tarquin and Rashad Torrance. Work the Cut, Xavier Henderson. Chief Borders, Foxhole Guys is Trent Whittemore, Trey Dean. Lock the Gates, Kingsley Aguakin and Amari Burney. And Show Me My Opponent, Justin Short of Ventrell Miller. Look, what he's setting the precedent of how the program is going to be run. This is all great stuff, but none of this translates to winning football games if you ain't a very good football team. I love it. I don't understand all of it because I'm not there. I don't think anybody understands it because none of us are there, how it works. Right. But it's team building. It's stuff that is being done at other schools that he's been at. And, but again, we're on the right track, but competing and doing these type of things are great, but you still have to have Jimmys and Joes to win ball games.
Yeah, you have to have guys that can score. We got to have players that can find the end zone, QB. It's just, to me, that's the season for Florida. If they can score, they'll figure out the defensive side of the ball, but they have to find ways to get the ball in the end zone. So.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be explosive, and time will tell. I don't know how explosive we'll be. But John says, QB, is the OU softball team the most dominant team to win a championship we have ever seen in any sport?
Well, I don't know about any sport, but in softball, I don't think there's any doubt that's the best team I've ever seen in my life play softball.
But, I mean, I think they may be the most dominant team we've ever seen in any sport.
That's amazing. They were down 2-0, fifth inning, no big deal. The over-under on that game was 11.5, and there was no doubt it was going over, even in the fifth inning with 2 runs on the board. Just because that as soon as these girls got on base, you knew that anybody in that lineup was capable of hitting a 3-run homer, and it happened a couple of times. So the next thing you know, it's 6-2, and it's over. That's it. It's that.
What was the final? 10-2?
It was 10-5 because Texas hit a 2-out, 3-run homer. Some pinch hitter hit one that just simply got over the left field wall and made it 10-5. All of those Oklahoma -5.5 wagerers suffered a tragic loss, but the Texas Longhorns, they got 5 on them, and but they allowed 10, and they allowed 10 in 2 innings or 3. So, I mean, this is the best team I've ever seen play softball. You cannot beat.
Well, here's what's good, JC.
Constantly hitting home runs in that.
Here's the good thing: is Jocelyn Allo is graduating.
Yeah, that is a good thing. But I'm sure they've got a couple other Allos back there somewhere waiting to play because QB, again, you cannot beat a team that is averaging 8 to 9, 10 runs.
And what's weird is, and I guarantee you were thinking this when it was 2-0 in the 5th, Texas. Why did Patty Gasso start the true freshman pitcher?
I was.
You were thinking that, weren't you? I didn't even text you, but you were thinking it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like,
she was the National Player of the Year coming out of high school, so she's pretty damn good. And she goes,
I'll tell you what, Patty Gasso could start one of us, but she still's not worried about winning, dude. Because they just anyway, we all know how great they are. Good for them, back-to-back winners now. Dynasty in softball, that's what they are. But you got to tip your cap to Texas too. That team came literally out of nowhere to find the finals, to get there, and stay in Oklahoma City as long as anyone else, or longer than anyone else. So,
wow.
Texas.
Listen to this stat, JC. Before we switch gears,
okay.
Our man Dan out in Texas, he's full of stats.
Oh yeah, he loves that. Yeah, he loves.
And here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, he says, "I'm gonna ask you this first. Because he has it here. Out of 48 of Oklahoma's however many wins they had this year, how many of those wins were run rule wins?"
I'm gonna say out of 48, I'll just throw a number out there and say 40.
Oh, you got it exactly right. Well, think about that. They won how many games? 54 games this year?
Yeah, absurd.
I think they went 54-3, I think. And 40 of those 54 wins
were run rules.
Run rules. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a different level team. It's one of those dynasty teams that come along in their respective sports every so often. But, they went back to back. So she's truly done some great things there at Oklahoma. And listen, everybody else has got to catch up.
Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titanor hotline. We got to give a shout out here on Facebook Live.
What about your
hang on a second. Okay. Nat says, good morning, Shane and JC. I'm watching from North Florida Regional Hospital after having neck and back surgery yesterday.
Oh, wow. Well, hope you got through it okay there, my man.
Well, obviously, they're watching our show, so they must be feeling okay, but that does not sound very fun.
Well, hospitals, man, it's the worst place on earth to be. But I guess it's the second worst place on earth to be. The other would be, I guess, under the hospital. But certainly, thank you for watching and tuning in. And we've had, I've gotten a word from folks that are out of state watching us. And, obviously they're very interested in the University of Florida and the sports scene. But when we're in June, right, you get other stories that come across, and we try to make it as interesting as possible. You picked Matthew Fitzpatrick to win the RBC Canadian, and he's only one stroke out in second place behind this guy named Wyndham Clark. Why the hell didn't we pick Wyndham Clark? What's the matter with him?
Well, it's day one. Wyndham Clark could shoot 78 today.
And right behind him is Alex Smalley. Okay, how did we forget Alex Smalley? But one golfer I want to point out is a dude that's basically been making a living in the top 10 and has yet to win, but maybe one day he will, and that's my man Harold Varner.
Oh, I love Harold.
Harold, he was leading after the third round in Harbor Town right after the Masters and just couldn't hang on. Made a lot of pars. The guy makes pars. He's a par guy. But he's got to make some birdies here and there. I don't know. A lot of folks have been asking me, what are your thoughts about Dustin Johnson selling his soul to the Saudi Arabians and Phil Mickelson and Kevin Na and all these guys, and now they're being suspended by the PGA Tour? I said, they can be suspended on the PGA Tour. They're still going to be in the U.S. Open, and that's really all they care about is the majors. And I guess my thinking is it's unrealistic to think you can ignore that kind of payout and say, well, I'm going to stay stateside and play in Hartford this weekend and hope to make a couple $100,000 when you're being told that by simply showing up in London, on average, you're going to get paid $11 million. If you play 11 tournaments, because you're getting paid $125 million or $200.
But that doesn't that money that they got, the 125 and the 200 million, has nothing to do with the purse that they can go actually win at the event.
Right. No,
real quick, let's I'm going to get back to that. Nat says, I'm doing all right considering drugs help. Yeah, he had to get it done before the Utah game. Nat, hang in there, my man. We're praying for you. Hope speedy recovery. Okay, back to the Live Tour. Okay, I got some stuff here that I screenshot. I want to read because this guy reported at this year's U.S. Open, it will include a guy who just got $200 million to show up for a golf tournament, a 57-year-old who played his way through local and final qualifying, a guy who's made $656 on the PGA Tour circuit for 6 years now as a pro, and all the best players on earth. What an event. I mean, because the U.S. Open, you and I could go qualify for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, we could qualify.
But here's the other one about the Live. This was tweeted. The caddies at the Live events have it good and great. Not only do they potentially get a nice commission off an enormous purse, but all their expenses are paid for by the Live Tour. Spoke to one caddy on the European Tour, and it includes travel, lodging, shuttle to and from the course, and all meals.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's the gold star treatment, right? The Saudi Arabians are taking care of their guys. But here's the thing, QB. At the end of the day, you can pretty much do anything you want to in this world with a bank account that reads $300 million as you could with a bank account that reads $400 million or whatever your net worth may be. At the end of the day, you are in the households of folks that live in Abu Dhabi and folks that live in England and folks. So basically what I'm saying is that you're kind of removing yourself from what made you who you are, or at least on the circuit that made you who you are today, so that you can go and do something like that. And to me, it just seems kind of cold, right? I mean, it's kind of a mercenary like. It's like, oh, wow, nothing matters except who's going to pay us the most for an appearance fee, whether we play well or not. And that's how people are thinking about this. I think if Dustin Johnson were to win this tournament this weekend in London, or if Kevin Na won a tournament somewhere in Portugal, or they played and won something in Riyadh, that's great, but nobody cares. Nobody will care. And I don't know if that matters to them or not. And it probably doesn't.
It doesn't. Obviously, it doesn't.
Right,
Because as you said, I mean, the PGA Tour is the best players in the world. Well, it's going away now. But you and I have talked many times on here. We love golf, and I watch golf. But what do we prefer to watch?
Yeah.
Majors. That's all because they make so much. The top players in the world make so much money on all their endorsements and advertisers and stuff. So listen to the purse this week. Okay. So somebody asked, they thought they got 125,000 to show up. That may be some of the other players, but basically Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson got 200 million and 125 million just to join the tour, the LIV Tour. That has nothing to do with how they play or any of that. The purse this week is $20 million. First place is $4 million. Do you know what Justin Thomas, who won the Masters? Justin Thomas?
The Masters.
Scotty Scheffler.
Scheffler won it.
Do you know what he made to win the Masters?
1.7.
2.7 million. Whoever wins this week is going to make $4 million. Last place is 120K. And then the top, because it's a team event as well, it's individual and team. The top team is going to make, each player is going to make $5 million.
Oh, yeah, listen.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It's all about money, but there's no prestige behind it. If you ask the guy, if you ask anybody, would you rather have won the Masters and got paid whatever it was and had an exemption for life and a green jacket, or would you rather win $4 million somewhere in Wales?
No, that's right. But you think about it. Dustin Johnson's won. Patrick Reed's won it. Yeah. Phil's won it. So they don't care anymore. They're going to take their $200 million, go have fun. It's almost like going and playing in a celebrity event or charity event. Yeah. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to play in the 4 majors. And then that's when I'm going to compete. We got a text on the Titan Mark text line. It says the PGA suspends the LIV players. NIL, LIV, where are we headed?
Yeah, we're headed to whoever's got the most money. And it seems like whoever's got the deepest pockets. And in college football right now, that's Texas A&M. And in basketball, it could be Louisville or Kentucky, Louisville or Kentucky. And who knows what's coming for the secondary sports. We talk about all this money that's being paid to these college football programs and an assortment of basketball players, perhaps. But what about some of the money that Allo should be paid in Oklahoma? I mean, some softball enthusiasts with deep pockets might be heading to Norman, Oklahoma to start spending more money so they can continue to keep winning. Not that they need it, but I mean, that's also eligible. I mean, everybody's eligible, right, to get some sort of payout from some sort of collective. And that's where it seems to be going. So whoever's got the deepest pockets is going to be paying out the most. And what that translates into is yet to be seen, but it seems pretty messy to me. So again, though, QB, and you've said this and I've said this, on September the whatever it is, at 7 o'clock, about 6 miles from where I'm sitting right now, nobody in that stadium is going to care what the payroll says.
Well, they're going to care. They're going to care if we're 0-3 to start the season. They're going to say we got to buy better players.
You're right. That's right.
Real quick, Joseph says on Facebook Live, the PGA executives have obviously had their hands way down in the cookie jar when you compare those payouts. That's not true. I will tell you this for the PGA Tour. I read an article. The PGA Tour has the best pension and benefits of any professional organization. Okay.
Yeah, they're not struggling.
Majority of I want to say it's a nonprofit deal because they give so much money back to charity.
That's correct. Yeah. It's always about some charity. Every single tournament, you see some executive talking to Jim Nantz for a minute and a half because that's the time allotted to talk about the charity, the charity. And, just because oil is $120 a barrel for Brent crude, the Saudis are literally printing money Right now, this live thing seems like the hot item. I guarantee you 4 or 5 years from now, nobody's going to care about it. I just don't think they will, because this is the market. It's not who's got the name, household name in some desert kingdom. The market is in the United States. That's where you're going to make your endorsement deals. That's where you're going to get your fame and fortune. It's going to be in this market. It's not going to be in Europe. It's not going to be in some Middle Eastern country. It's just not. But right now, they just want to throw money around because they can't. So let them do it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's I didn't see any of it. Somebody asked on here how you can watch it. I'm not even sure how you can watch it. Do you know, JC?
I don't either. But I thought not anybody. I mean, that was the first time I heard somebody actually ask how you can watch it. No, all I saw was a couple of highlights of Phil Mickelson with some glasses on and Dustin Johnson high-fiving each other as they're walking down the fairway, realizing that they could afford a building anywhere they want to in that city they're in. So great. I mean, that's fine. Listen. Again, the market is here. This is where you make your name, and I applaud the competitive nature of these other tournaments to try to see what they can do as well. But money is the only issue here. It's not really an issue for any of us. PGA Tour is still going to have the best players in the world. QB, they're still going to have the 4 majors, and they're still going to have the most people watching. That is still going to happen regardless of who decided to leave and go play on some nebulous tour overseas, 6 hours away from Eastern time zone. So,
what was interesting? I saw some pictures. Phil had on the all black. He was wearing the hat with his logo on it. Did you see the vest he had on though, JC?
I did not see that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It was a black vest, but the logo was in black as well.
Yeah.
It was the Augusta National logo.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Well, so tell me, what does it mean when the PGA Tour says they've suspended these players? What does that mean they can't do? Just play in regular weekly events?
I guess I would assume, because, as we've already mentioned, the PGA Tour has nothing to do with the majors outside of the PGA Championship.
Okay.
So that I don't know. I haven't read up on all the statements that came out. It's crazy to me.
It almost
the money that's being thrown at those guys. I mean, like I asked you the other day, JC, if somebody offered you $200 million to go play over there, your ass is on the first plane going.
I got to be, and I'll buy my own plane and get there. But QB, we're supposedly heading for a recession. For all of our economic watchers this morning, we're going to get a CPI report, which is a measure of consumer prices, here in about 10 minutes. We're supposedly going to see negative growth in our economy, and yet it feels like more money is being splashed around than ever before, ever. And TV contracts, Saudi Arabian golf tours, collectives in Central Texas, collectives in California, whatever. It's like money is just whatever. If you don't have a 7-figure bank account, you might as well forget about ever retiring. It's that kind of thing. And I just don't believe it just doesn't feel like real life, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's a bizarre world right now. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, the Saudis behind the Live Tour, some bad dudes killing innocent people. Yeah, I think that's
they've been killing people in the Middle East since before any of us were even born, and it's always been the way it is. Yeah, maybe they're bad dudes, but you know what? These golfers are not thinking about that, and neither are the people going to these tournaments. And that's just the World Cup. The World Cup, for all our soccer viewers, it's the most grand sporting event in the history of the world. It's being played in Qatar or Qatar or whatever that name of that country is, which is a little peninsula jutting out from the Arabian Peninsula into the Red Sea. And they're going to be playing 140-degree weather or 120-degree weather, a soccer tournament that is got the audience of the world. Does the world care about people getting murdered in the Middle East? They're sending their soccer tournament to there.
So when is that? That tells you how much I keep up with soccer. When is the World Cup?
The World Cup. It's the World Cup. It's the greatest. It's the biggest.
I know what the World Cup is. When is it? I'm asking.
Oh, I think it's coming up either this next summer or the summer after, but it's coming up.
Oh, we got time to get the world right by then, JC.
Okay.
Facebook Live here. We got now that JC has brought up economics, Dan says Walmart was in the red, not a good sign. John says, JC, the president said the economy was in great shape with smiley faces.
I feel so much better now that I know that. Thank God. Well, obviously, in Texas and California and whoever, Tennessee, Knoxville, you can throw them in there. The economic picture is very good because young kids are getting paid millions of dollars, evidently, I think. That's at least what we hear. And golfers who are anonymous for all intents and purposes outside of Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and maybe one more are getting paid 7 figures to get on a plane and go play. So, hey, God bless them. If you can do it, do it. And, it's you're only allotted a certain amount of time on this world, so you might as well make the most of it. But I certainly think that when all of the smoke clears, for lack of, not to be cliched here, but when the smoke clears, it is always going to come back to the United States because that's where the biggest and most lucrative market will always be because we have the biggest economy. So that's what I believe. Another
text on the Titanamar text line from an anonymous texter. He don't want us to know who he is. He says, if a couple, could be a female, if a couple more little leagues pop up, sports will be totally screwed up.
More little leagues?
The Live Tour, to me, it's almost like I just saw little clips of it on Twitter. It feels like a reality show to me.
Right. It doesn't feel real. None of this feels real, QB. It's a reality show when a kid from Arizona or California can get paid reportedly $8 million and he hasn't even taken a snap in Tennessee. Yeah. Okay? I mean, an offensive lineman in Texas who's barely 19 years old or 18, whatever, getting paid 7 figures to go block.
But I thought you were all for the NIL a couple months ago.
I'm all for a free market economy. That's what I'm for. But what I'm saying is it is bizarre, right? It's weirdo world out there right now. And that's what I'm saying is that we're supposedly coming off the worst pandemic of mankind. We're supposedly going into a hyperinflative economy. We're supposedly going to see a recession again. And yet we're talking about money that's literally flying out of the sky like falling embers from the Hindenburg. It's everywhere. The money is flying everywhere. And okay, tell me something else. I'll live. But I just think it's nutso out there.
It is. All right. Facebook Live question brought to you by Melton Law. John says, QB, do you think the Women's College World Series should rotate to other venues? When you go to OKC and OU is playing, it feels like an OU football game out there.
Yeah, it does.
Look, it's no different than if Creighton or Nebraska were worth a damn in baseball, they'd be in Omaha. Yeah. No, I think that venue,
OKC's their place. Yeah,
that venue. That's where the USA national team plays. It's the best venue. You're not going to find another softball venue that can hold that many people in America.
Right, 12, 13,000. No, it's the cathedral of softball. It really is, and that's where every player who enters college softball endeavors to be at least once in their college career before it's over. And finding your way to Oklahoma City is a great reward for a great season, but only 8 teams get to do it. And so it's a hard thing to get to, but that's the greatness of Florida and UCLA and these teams that go seemingly every year. It's because of, it may not seem hard to them, but they'll tell you it's not easy ever to get there. So
Robert says the World Cup in Qatar is in November, December of this year.
Okay. So fine. All right. So that will be helpful that it won't be in the middle of summer and it won't be 125 degrees. But that part of the world, that country is connected to Saudi Arabia. It is. Look at a map, folks. I know Americans hate looking at maps, but look at a map and there it is sticking out into the Persian Gulf. It's right there with Iran, Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Yemen.
Facebook Live here, brought to you by Mel Law. Chris says, you guys lose me when your conversation veers to your hard right-wing politics. Stick to SHIT that you know about. Look, I don't claim to know anything. I just know our country is a shit show right now.
Wait, what right-wing politics could we be referring to here?
I don't know. I'm just reading what Facebook Live says. I don't claim to get. I could care less about politics. All I know is our country is a mess right now. If anybody thinks it's in good shape, they're clueless. So this has nothing to do with Democrats, Republicans, or whatever. I'm just stating a fact. I mean,
I don't know. Whoever typed that in must be doing well.
I guess, but I don't know what world they're living in. It says right here, Dan says it's an OU home game at OKC. It is what it is. Like Bama fans have all the SEC championship game tickets. Yeah, I mean, look, OU ain't going anywhere.
Georgia had. Listen,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like I've said multiple times.
Yeah.
When it comes to playing on the road in basketball, in baseball, crowd noise is there, but how does it affect the game?
Right. Well,
nobody's having to jump all sides.
No, it's
true. Crowd noise affects football because of the snap count.
This thing about Alabama with all the tickets, the game is played in Atlanta. The school closest to Atlanta would be the University of Georgia. So, folks, I mean, get there. When you get there, you can bring as many fans as you want from Knoxville, Gainesville, Fayetteville, Starkville, Baton Rougeville, whateverville. You can bring as many as you want there. It's all waiting for you right there in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a great place to have the game. It's the only place to have the game, frankly.
Okay. Before we let you go, JC, I'm going to read a couple more Facebook Lives. We're going to get to. Remember, you and I are going to pick the super regionals for the Peachland Dentistry picks.
I've got that ready to roll.
So pull those up. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, how many NIL are going to have IRS troubles in the future? I don't think any, because here's how most of the NILs work. Okay. So JC, let's say you are the Alabama Collective or whatever. Your group runs it. Okay. All the NIL deals run through your group. So I'm a player, and this is how it works at Florida. And it works like this at all the major universities, folks. So the paperwork goes to you. So let's say car dealership pays me $100,000. Okay. That check is stroked to the collective. Then the collective takes out all the taxes, or they do all the paperwork. They make sure the taxes are taken out for player X, and then they pay the player. That way the player doesn't even have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So I'll be surprised if any of that is an issue. Because it's not like JC, who has a car dealership or a restaurant, basically gives me $100,000 cash or writes me a check without the collectives and the NIL people knowing. That can't happen, and that won't happen. So anyway, all right, JC, let's get to our Peachland Dentistry. Obviously, we did our Canadian Open picks.
Yeah.
How are your guys doing, by the way? Mine is Sam Burns, Fitzpatrick, and Cam Smith. Cam Smith played like you and I did yesterday.
Yeah. I think you're doing better right now after the first round. But in the baseball super regionals, we've got ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPNU all showing these games. And there are 8 sites. Tennessee, the top seed, will be playing Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame is 38-14. Tennessee's 56-7, and that's tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm
taking Tennessee. This is our Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. I'm going to take the Vols to get to Omaha.
So number 8 is East Carolina facing the 9th seeded Texas Longhorns. Both teams have identical records at 45-19. This is in Greenville starting this afternoon. I'm going to take the Texas Longhorns. They have. All right,
I'm taking the East Carolina Pirates. They're at home. They have a really good baseball program.
They are good.
Somehow. They're cool. But I'm going to take the Purple Pirates.
The Louisville Cardinals are at Texas A&M. A&M is the 5th national seed, and I like them at home at Blue Bell Stadium. Give me.
Yeah, you don't roll into Blue Bell.
You don't.
Ice cream ballpark.
No, you do not.
I like the Aggies to get there.
That's right. The team that was just here last weekend is up in Blacksburg, Virginia. I have no idea how good Virginia Tech is, but somebody does think they're good because they're seeded number 4 nationally. But I think Oklahoma is a team that could be one of those surprise unseeded teams that make it. They're a good team. I'm going to take the upset and see, and I'm going to pick them to beat BPI.
All right, I'm going to take the Hokies to make it to Omaha.
UConn is traveling out to Stanford.
I mean, I didn't even know UConn was still alive.
How about UConn? They play tomorrow. Saturday at 1:30 local Eastern time, 10:30 out there at Stanford, the number 2 national seed. UConn's a great story, but I don't see them beating Stanford over there.
No, Cardinal to Omaha.
Now, this is probably the most intriguing, or I think this will be the most competitive, if you could call it that, regional, super regional, and that would be Arkansas out of the SEC fresh off their win over Oklahoma State, traveling to North Carolina, the 10th seed at Chapel Hill. I love this regional here, super regional, but I'm going with the Hogs. I think there's something special that he's got going, and he's going to get them back to Omaha.
Yeah, we had Mike Morgan on Wednesday. I guess he's calling this series.
Yeah.
I like the Hogs, too. I tell you what, North Carolina's got the best baseball uniform when they wear the all baby blues. Oh, my gosh. But I'm going to go with the SEC, and I'm going with the Hogs.
All right. Then we've got Mississippi at Southern Mississippi. Hattiesburg is happening this weekend, baby. Number 11 national seed, Southern Mississippi against the Black Bears, Land Sharks, whatever they're called now. I'm going to take, just because I'm going to take Southern Mississippi, the home team, because they beat LSU. And if they beat LSU, I figure they can beat Mississippi. So I'll take that.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I mean, Southern Mississippi, I'm going to go with the SEC. I'm going to be a homer again. I like the Black Bears more, and I like the Golden Eagles. So
okay, cool. And then finally, a team that basically was scoring football touchdowns last weekend, Auburn. Auburn is traveling all the way the hell out to Corvallis to play Oregon State at Traditional Power, the 3rd national seed. Something tells me Auburn is on that Oklahoma roll in softball and hitting the ball better than any team in the country right now. Now they may go to Oregon State and get shut down, but I like the way they're going, so I'm going to take Auburn to beat Oregon State.
I think I've picked every SEC school. I'm going to stick
why
with
not?
it. Why not? I will say Oregon State, I think they win the national title back-to-back a few years ago.
Yes, they did. They are a forgotten powerhouse.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Very good.
So that there you have it. Before we let you go, JC, Andy wanted to let you know that there's breaking news. The inflation rose 8.6% in May, highest since 1981.
And that, my friends, is what I'm talking about. The highest since 1981. QB, what were you doing in 1981? I think you were 11 years old.
I was 11 years old, so that's that's 5th grade. I was in the cotton fields in Cleveland, Mississippi. Basically riding my bike around the cotton fields and playing baseball and football and going to the Mississippi River. How about that? Right,
and you didn't care about inflation. And I was a Buchholz Bobcat here in Gainesville, Florida, playing baseball, and I was slightly older than you, but the thing is that is an incredible number, 8.6%, folks. Yeah. That's not going to do well for your 401ks. So if you want to call that right wing, then I'm all day right wing, okay? Because that is the reality of what's happening in this world right now, and it does affect you. So live with it.
Okay, before we let you go, I keep saying it. I want you to answer this. Joseph asked, so QB, when you hear Caleb Williams, the USC QB, gets $1 million. Yeah. He's getting $1 million after taxes are taken out. Why not just pay them more and make them have a W-2? Kids need to learn about stuff like that at an early age.
Well, then they would be an employee. And we've talked about this. Will these kids ever become a payroll employees? And that's what a W-2, that's what it means. You're an employee.
And John says, did Ole Miss ever change their name officially? I know there was talk about it. No, they're not the Black Bears. They're not the Land Sharks. They're still the Rebels.
Are they still the Rebels?
Yeah, they're the Rebels. Damn, everybody's got Rebels on their jerseys.
What's their logo, QB?
Well, they don't have Colonel Reb as a logo. They basically just use the script Ole Miss or just the M as their logo.
Okay.
They don't have like a mascot anymore, unfortunately.
Right. No mascot there. So give me the Golden Eagles. That's at least the mascot. I don't know. I'm very impressed with the way Mississippi battled down there in Coral Gables, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them in the College World Series.
Yeah. All right, JC, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday, my man.
All right. Thank you.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Going to take a timeout, come back, and get to some of these Facebook Lives and text messages on the Titan More text line. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra, State Farm Insurance. Doreen Wiebe, Realtor, Caldwell Banker, M.M. Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Frank. Frank says, Shane, did you ever receive any offers to play college baseball? Small college baseball. I was a three-sport guy. I didn't play any summer ball. I didn't play any travel ball. I just played shortstop. But I did get some small offers. What's interesting is basketball was my favorite sport, and Lon Kruger actually tried to get me to come out for basketball when I was here. This was before I started. I think after my first year in 1990 starting, he talked to me about it. I could shoot. I couldn't guard anybody though, but I was the two-time UF intramural back-to-back three-point champion. So appreciate the text, Frank. Andy says that was entertaining. Nicely done. Thanks for listening, Andy. We appreciate you. Look, I don't get into politics. I don't claim to know politics. I don't care about politics. I just state a fact. That's all. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. If you missed it last night, the Lightning win the game 3-1. They go up 3-2 over the Rangers. Tonight is game 4 of the NBA Finals. I would expect Golden State to win. That's just for TV. I would think that would happen, but you never know. And Gator Track, congratulations. I think it's still going on. Like I told you, I just think track is so hard to follow. I know we have a long jump champ, female long jump champ that's won everywhere she's been. Congratulations to her. Andy asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellow Law. Shane, after your conversation with Mike Morgan on Wednesday and knowing his background and respect for the Gator job, he seems like he could be the guy to replace Mick. Look, I think Mike would do a phenomenal job. Mike, I think Mike said on our program, that's the only job he would leave ESPN SEC Network for. I mean, that's every kid that goes to the Florida J School or the big school out of Syracuse or Northwestern, go work at ESPN and the SEC Network, ACC Network, or what have you. That's where you want to get. But, I mean, obviously with him being a graduate of the University of Florida, loves the school, maybe he gets it. I don't know. I would think here in the next couple of weeks we'll hear about it. But Mike does a tremendous job calling basketball and football and baseball, although Cardozo will stick doing baseball for sure. So we shall see. John says some people just don't like the truth sometimes, QB. I guess. Ben says Mike Morgan would be awesome. So we'll find out here soon, sooner rather than later, I would think, who they're going to hire to be the voice of the Florida Gators. If you missed it earlier, we were talking about the regiment grouping, or I think that the timing, I'm losing my track here, thought track. But yeah, the Gator, I don't know what this is all about. It's a competition. It's 2-man teams, I guess. They got names. It's all team building. And that's what Billy Napier is trying to change the culture, the thought process, get kids to compete. Will it pay off this year? Let's hope. If not, it's definitely something that you build to get ready on down the road. But they're doing a lot of good things around there. I know y'all saw about where each player is getting 2 suits. You get 2 suits each year. I've never understood the whole suit thing. Thank goodness I was never on a team, professionally or in college, it was required to wear a suit to a football game. I know guys love it. They talk about it as a business trip. I understand that 100%. But there is nothing worse and more uncomfortable than wearing a suit on an airplane, just on a bus ride from the hotel to the stadium. I've just never understood that. Maybe somebody can help me out here, but I'm glad I never had to wear a suit. I just got a suit a couple of weeks ago for my daughter's wedding. I think that was the first suit I ever bought and wore. And I didn't even wear the tie. So, but anyway, they're doing great things over there. We talked yesterday with Franz Beard about recruiting. It sounds like 3 or 4 of the top-notch players in America have the Gators very high on their board. So we shall find out. I know some other people are coming this weekend on recruiting visits. So we'll find out. John says you should have a live show during the Eastern Michigan game this year. That would be fun to see everyone's thoughts about the game. Eastern Michigan? We don't play Eastern Michigan, do we? I'm not sure what John's referring to there. Maybe we do play Eastern Michigan. John says, Shane, did you tick off when Lenny's called you a product of the system? When did they call me that? Back when I played? The whole product of the system, that used to bother me. It used to bother Coach Spurrier as well when he said these quarterbacks are the product of the system. Every player is the product of their system. Tommy Frazier, one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time running the option, was the product of the Nebraska option. So he's talking about Eastern Washington, not Eastern Michigan, one of those Eastern schools. So, John, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that used to bother all of us quarterbacks that played for Coach Spurrier. But every player at any level of any sport is a product of the system that they are playing in. So anyway, let's take another quick timeout. I got a couple of texts here that I was trying to read while I was talking. I'll get to them when we come back. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar, If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Wiebe, a realtor with Caldwell Banker M. Parrish, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today, folks. 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. All right, John, back to your questions. Eastern Washington. No way I can do a live show during the game because I'll be calling the game. So that would be very difficult to do. But good thought. Good thought. John says, Shane, that label is why you were not higher in the Heisman. Maybe so. Who knows? Who knows? Andy says, Eastern Washington, I think that was a McElwain deal that was supposed to happen during COVID and was canceled and moved to this year. Look, they're a very good basketball, very good football program. They're always in the playoffs. They play on that red field out there, you know. They don't have issues with birds flying into the field like Boise does with the blue field that they think it's a lake. Coy says, if you are not good enough, you can end up being a byproduct of the system too. That is very true. Very, very true. Bill Walsh quote, Chris says, Joe Montana was the product of the system. Dan Marino, why is my computer not working here? Where is it? Dan Marino was the system. Yeah, well, you got to be in a good system, be a good player to take advantage of it. So, who knows? It is what it is. So we got a lot of college baseball. I know the Gators are not in it, but a lot of SEC programs, 5 of them. JC and I just went through the Peachland Dentistry picks. And somehow I picked all 5 SEC teams to go. I don't think that will happen, but being an SEC homer, Dan wants JC to run the live show for the Eastern Washington game. Maybe we'll do that. Shane, Andy asked, are you doing any pregame shows this season? Used to with Steve Russell. Yeah, Steve and I will do a pregame show for home games. We're live in the Student Union in the bookstore. That's like 3 or 4 hours before kickoff. And then I'll head on over to the booth after that. And away games, I'll just call in from the hotel before we get on the bus. But yes, we'll be doing a pregame show, and then I'll do a Monday after the Gator show. After the Gator football game with Steve, recapping and taking people's phone calls to talk about it. John says OU softball record was 59-3. That is crazy, absolutely crazy. So it's one of the. I'm telling you, they're maybe the most dominant sports team we've ever seen. Let's get to this day in sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule air conditioners. Tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give them a call, 352-376-2366. This day in sports, not a whole lot was going on, but in 1997, Kevin Brown, pitcher of the Florida Marlins, no hits the San Francisco Giants 9-0. That's this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Greg says, I wonder if C.J. Stroud has to pay taxes while driving the $200,000 Mercedes. I doubt it. The reason I say that, because after I played, when I was back in Gainesville, I drove a couple of cars, trucks for a dealership out of Stark. And basically what you do is you just drive them for 4,000 or 5,000 miles, turn them back in, and they sell them as used vehicles, lightly used vehicles. So I believe he turns his in every couple of months. I could be wrong on that, though, but that's how it was back in the day. Got Greg says this system sounds like their allowance rich kids get. Not sure what that means. So, but I could be wrong about that, Greg, but that's how it was, as I mentioned back in the day. Back to OU softball. Jocelyn Allo finished her career with 122 home runs. I don't think anyone beats that, John. There's no way. She was the most dominant hitter I've ever seen. I've only been watching softball for about 17 years. Once Tim Walton got here, that's when I started tuning in. But I don't see how anybody gets that many. Hope you enjoyed today's program. We appreciate you tuning in and commenting and asking questions. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you folks on Monday. Take care.